to this. Oh my golly, the case is heating up in the Nancy Guthrie case. And after what we heard from Chris McDonough, after what I heard from Harvey at TMZ, after what the news is now reporting, all of this new information, we've got to sort it out. There's a little bit of confusion. There was a lot of salad talk, but there were some little pieces in there, especially with McDonough. He was trying to say something, and I think I smell what he's cooking. I think you have to think outside the box of where he's coming from. He's seeing it's the tip of the iceberg. So I did a little digging, just a little. I don't know if it means anything, but it's a definite connection. But the question then went, well, we're going to get into it all. There's so much to talk about today. I'm just saying, a lot to cover. So welcome to 1111 True Crime. I hope you're all doing well wherever you are. Thank you for all the support of our channel. It is growing like hotcakes. All right, you guys. So we've never left the Nancy case. We've always been covering the Nancy case. And there's been moments where we look at something and we're like, something's wrong there, but we don't have enough information to keep going that direction, really. Now we've got a little bit more. Thank you, Chris and Karen, for going to Tucson and doing what you did, because you gave me a aha moment that now I can share with my lovely crowd here. Not that Chris is going this direction, but I'm going to go there because I'm going to go down every rabbit hole. Even though I have my own personal theory, it's a theory. It doesn't mean it's exactly right. And we don't want to get tunnel vision. We want to keep looking at everything as it comes in. So welcome to the live audience. Who do we have with us? Smudger Nick UK. Ish is here. Zozo, Jennyville, Jan Funk. Anna's with us. Betty Carter. Hello, everybody. And if I didn't say hello, I am now. Welcome in if you are new. Make sure support the channel. We're always working on cases left and right. We've been at it for a while now. 150 cases under my belt that we have worked together. And there's a lot going on in the Nancy Guthrie case. Hi, Radina. Welcome back. I see a reminder went out. Hopefully you got one. If you aren't getting a reminder when we're going live, stay tuned to the community tab, or you can follow me on Facebook or Twitter at 1111 True Crime. All right, you guys. Hi, Sunflower. Why is Harvey at TMZ torturing Savannah? Excuse me? She couldn't finish her show today in video 2. He just streamed a few minutes ago. I don't think he's torturing Savannah, but that's your opinion. Go for it. I'm just going to be honest. I don't have partiality to any of people that knew Nancy. So I'm not biased to Nancy's daughters or son-in-law or anybody. I look at them all of them as suspects. Every last person that ever knew Nancy is a suspect in my book until we know who really did it. So I don't hold anybody up on a pedestal and, oh, no, because every single case that's ever been solved that I have worked has come back to somebody that the victims knew very, very well, excluding the Idaho 4 case, if you believe that Kohlberger is the actual perpetrator. However, I don't. I believe, I'll just tell you, it was somebody that was within a block of the home, and I think it was multiple somebodies. But that's my take on the Idaho 4. Now, in the Nancy Guthrie case, I'm highly suspicious of all family members. FBI has not cleared them. I'm not going to say I'm not. I'm not going to lie so that I spare somebody's feelings. There was a lot of information that came out, and Harvey revealed something about the FBI as well, and their response and the behind-the-scenes plans that were going on. And I was like, whoa, that's new. We all were asking, why aren't they trying this? Oh my golly. Wait till you hear about this. All right, you guys. Hey, Wendy B. G Angel, good to see you. Sunflower again. Lori, good to see you. You said bye. if you're head over heels in love with one of the victims' families, so much so that you think that they're above suspicion and you just ruled them out because you adore that person, you're not going to find yourself in a comfortable territory here. I'm just saying. But remember, you have a choice of what buttons you click and what you watch. Here I am. Love me or leave me. It's the way it is. All right, you guys. So let's get into this. Let's start with the news. And this is okay, so there's so much to go over. We're just going to grab bite after bite about different things that are coming out because this case is kind of like popping off.
In the search for Nancy Guthrie, the missing mother of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie, News Nation has learned that the second ransom note sent to a local Tucson television station in the days following Guthrie's disappearance stated explicitly that she had died and that 84-year-old Guthrie was, quote, buried with nature now. A source close to the investigation tells our Brian Anton that the note indicated Nancy Guthrie's death was not intentional, but that the note also did not offer any kind of direct apology for her kidnapping or what the writer of the note claims is her death. Guthrie is believed to have been taken from her home by a masked intruder in the early hours of February 1st.
Okay, we know that part. All right. So what's basically being said now, it got confusing because Harvey of TMZ is saying that the note he got does not speak that Nancy had passed away at all, but rather that she was scared, but that she was fine. But they're not saying that it was the note that TMZ got. So Harvey isn't privy, or as Chris Proudfoot from the Sebastian Rogers case said, isn't privy to. He said that. So Harvey from TMZ is not privy or in the know of what the second ransom that was sent to a local television station said. So he can't really say if that said that or not, but it's being reported by sources close to News Nation that are in the investigation. Who's that source? Because basically, this knowledge coming out on the 142nd day that Nancy Guthrie is missing seems like it's saying she's dead and gone, let this go. Look, she passed away on day 3. Let this go. Or day 4. Let it go. So even though this is news to us, they've had it all along. They're just now bringing it out when the case, it's not closing, right? They're trying to shut down everything in the physical locale. And now it's almost as if there's some, I don't know, crisis worker in the background going, you know what? I know how to shut everybody down. Bill, Henry, let's tell everybody Miss Guthrie died. We'll just release that information about that second thing. And then everybody will be like, well, she passed. Let's go. There's nothing we can do. So the reason they're keeping the cases open because they have hope Miss Guthrie might be alive. Let's just give out this information. I know we've had it for 140 days. It's not new, but hey, it'll shut them up. That's how I feel. It's like they dropped this bombshell that it's I'm sorry your mom passed. She's with nature. She's with nature. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. What? The timing is so perfect. Every bit of this is timed in this neat little box. We all make complaints. I'm just going to rant for a minute. We all make these complaints. You hear thousands of people, I kid you not, have typed this out as a comment, either in the chat or in the comments below, not just on my channel, but all kinds of channels. You've heard almost every creator read this comment off. I can't understand how Savannah can hold it together during her job and be all smiles and act like there's nothing wrong when her mother is still missing. Well, you can't say that anymore, because on day 42, the same time all this other rigmarole about the second ransom letter that was sent to the local place saying Nancy passed away, now Savannah had her breakdown. Wiped what appeared to be nothing off her cheek as if there was tears rolling. I didn't see a one. Okay, now I wouldn't be acting like this if Savannah had taken the media by storm and been like, Nancy, Grace, hey, this is Savannah, co-host of the NBC Today Show. My mom is missing. I need airtime. Hey, TMZ, Harvey, I need a personal interview. I just want to be able to say my mom is missing. But no. We don't have it. No, she hasn't used that platform until today. Okay, so don't come on my channel, please, and put somebody up on a pedestal that if your mother was missing, even though you ain't got money, maybe you would still be working your hind end off on finding. You'd have every bit of your social media would be plastered with your mother. Your mother got stolen in the middle of the night, you allege, by a masked man. Your brother alleges that it was your fault, yet you put your children's faces on social media for Father's Day? Forgive me, but it's like you ain't got no good sense. It's really sad. Either you don't feel there's a serious threat, or you're short a couple colors in your crayon box. Okay. There, I popped my neck. I feel better. I had to get that out of my mouth. But the timing of this, you guys, well, Nancy Guthrie, 142 days. We've got this whole thing from Savannah where she's, all of a sudden can't hold it together at work. And she literally says, I'm not going to pretend I'm not here. So you've been pretending the whole other time? Huh? Okay. Mama D, you are so right. Whoever is running things is throwing everything up against the wall to cause mass confusion. So first they hit, get the, here's the plan. Here's the plan. All right. So you and I are going to have a board meeting. We're going to pretend, we're going to think like the people that are behind this entire crisis. Okay. We got to get this shut down. What's the first thing we need to do? Well, if we get the local people off the street, they won't have access to any details. People will stop watching. Okay, so let's clear all the YouTubers and everybody off that street. We can control media. All we got to do is fax them a bulletin with the exact words that we want said. We can't control these YouTubers, so let's get them off the street. Truth train blaring through, y'all. Second, let's start talking about that second little message that said Nancy was passed away and with nature, so that it gives everybody a feeling of rest. And then that'll calm everybody down and shut it all down. What's next? You feel me? That's where I feel like we're headed. What are your thoughts? What are you guys feeling? Misty Groove. Hello, lovely. I don't believe she was the big holiday grandma. I don't think she's a bring the kids over to grandma. I believe they do not like her. Well, thank you for sharing your thoughts. Oh, aristocrats. Maybe she is taking mental drugs so that she can be calmed. Are you talking about me? That was too funny. This says, oh, it's always Savannah's mom, not Nancy Guthrie, when a parent goes missing. It is as bad as a child missing. You never let it go. Your life changes as soon as they go missing. I agree. And it is all about Savannah Guthrie's mom. Let's pretend we found the body. Yeah, that's coming next. There it is. Oh, Christina R., you might be a psychic. Are they going to pretend and stage finding a body at this point? We found somebody. We found a bone, and it's hers. Yep, go on. Yeah, we borrowed this entire skip from the Brian Laundry Gabba potato case. Yeah, they pretended that jawbone was Brian's just to shut everybody down. So we're going to do the same thing. All right? Shazzy, hello, lovely. Preach it, Mama D. Savannah is tone deaf in your opinion. They were fully aware that Nancy was no longer alive when she spoke about the ransom note, when she said, we understand and will pay. I agree with that. That's right, you guys. Please put in my opinion or allegedly so that when I read your statement, it cannot be interpreted as me stating a fact, but rather me sharing your opinion. Check out those eyes on that news reporter. She can make them bigger. Chanson says, do we know who sent the press release out to everybody? I'm assuming it was a press release. No, that's my whole point. Who is the source that finally released the information about the second ransom? News Nation's the one that says their source. So is this the same kind of source that said and made the claim that Savannah had hired a $500,000 PI and she hadn't paid a dime and had no PI? You know? Misty Grove says she gives guilty vibes to you. Thank you. In your opinion, scrubbers can do whatever they want. They don't question a scrubber. Many people are doing as the scrubber says. Yeah, thank you for your opinion. They have to come up with something to make everyone go away for good. I think you could be right, Kristen. Yes. Laying laundries of bones. See what I did there? Ish says pretending there is a body was mentioned before on your channel. Yep. I'm just waiting for their scam. Mystery, why didn't Savannah use her fame? That was my question. To go on every crime channel for her mother. 100% agree with you. That was nothing to see here. Move along. Right? Was it Pima County FBI or Savannah? Or was it? Or was it just another made up bullshit? I don't know. You had a dream 2 weeks ago that you found Nancy, but she was standing position, had her glasses on, but her hands were tied. That's creepy. Grandma, yes, I agree. SG knew when she said we have the money over 2 months ago. So yeah, the ransom note most likely does say that she's. But why? All right, we're in a different meeting. We're the bad guys. Pretend we're the bad guys, all right? Okay, you're going to be Butch, and I'll be Ted. Ted and Butch come up with a plan, all right? And we've come up with a plan, and it's went south. And we've lost the teddy bear, the valuable teddy bear, right? That we've been holding ransom, that we were going to get $6 million. We don't know where it is. We don't know if it walked away. We don't know. We just don't have the teddy bear. So at what point is it okay for us? I mean, how's it in our favor in any way to let you know? Why would we tell you we lost the teddy bear? Why wouldn't we say the teddy bear's not looking good? Time is of the essence. Feel me? Why would we give it to you that we don't have the teddy bear? I don't get that. I don't get that. RKB, Savannah asking public's help, but won't stick up for the YouTubers. They are the only ones talking. Shazzy, now it makes sense with Waffle Mouth denied any assistance from outsiders and why the family acted like it was their Siamese went missing. I don't know what you mean by Siamese. And not their mom. Oh, that their cat went missing and not their mom who went poof in the middle of, okay, yeah, I get it. I get it. All right, you guys. So that's where Harvey's saying it didn't come from, he doesn't know any of that. So, in fact, the only one he got, so he only got one ransom letter. Then the local news station got the other ransom letter.
To Savannah Guthrie and her family for the kid. This ransom letter that we received kind of apologizes to Savannah Guthrie and her family with the FBI that I haven't talked about until now. But I want to start with these reports that this ransom letter that we received kind of apologizes to Savannah Guthrie and her family for the kidnapping, and that that Nancy was no longer alive. That was not in the ransom note that we received. It is not in that ransom note at all. It does say that she's scared, but okay. But the ransom note makes no reference to Nancy Guthrie either dying or the kidnappers apologizing. Now, there is a reference to Nancy Guthrie not being alive anymore, but that is from the person who sent us multiple emails saying that he knows or knew where Nancy Guthrie was and where the kidnappers were, and he wanted money in return for information. We passed that along to the FBI as we did the ransom note, but this person kept sending us emails. And early on, he said, time is of the essence. And then a few days after the kidnapping, he said, time is no longer of the essence, meaning she wasn't alive. So that's where that came from.
Okay. That does mean a little something here. So if the first letter is saying, hey, she's scared, but she's here, we need the money. The second letter goes to another location, which is the news station. And that one says, oh, she died. She's with nature. Sorry, not sorry. If you want her body back, we need the money. Was unintentional. She died. At the very same time, that letter comes out. We have it followed by Savannah doing the, we want to celebrate with our mom, we understand, so forth. And then TMZ starts getting these other letters that are saying, time is of the essence. You need to hurry. I know that where the kidnappers are. I know who has her, blah, blah, blah. And then the next letter coming out, oh, there's no urgency anymore. So that all fits pretty nice and tight together. You feel me? Like, for real. That's interesting. I think he's lying. He knows more. Just tell him what he's told. Interesting. Chanson, I'm wondering whether Kalila was the TMZ tipster letter writer. Depends when he was arrested. Should we check and see? Just curious. When was Derek Kalila arrested? February 5th. So he couldn't have been writing all the other letters unless they all came in 3 days, which they may have because then she had passed away. But this person continued and continued and continued to email. He was arrested on the 5th, but then he was released, right? So I guess he could be the one. But would he continue to write letters after being arrested for the fake brand? I just don't see it. I don't think so. Money is a common denominator. Thank you, lovely. Komodo, thank you, lovely, for the $4.99 snooper chat. You said, greetings all. We all have to get Mama D on Turtle Island this Wednesday night on Dolly Vision. I'd probably get voted off pretty quick. I ain't too worried. But thank you kindly, lovely. Isis's death story is to stop people stop going to her home. Could be. Thank you. And remember, in your opinion, are these letters thrown out to the media to throw off the investigation? The perp, in your opinion, was the proxy person? Interesting. No criminals apologize. That's my point. All right, so listen to how. So when I said that the first ransom letter came in, and then the second ransom, and that one was give us your money. Nancy's scared, but okay. All right, then the second one came in, went not to TMZ. They went over to the other news station, but TMZ started getting that guy that wanted to get a Bitcoin, half a Bitcoin, because he knew where Nancy was. He knew where the kidnappers were. It was in Mexico. Be prepared to go international and all that. It leads us up to this little bit of information where Harvey decides that maybe it'd be the best idea to pay this guy $100,000 or whatever and just see if he's being honest, that he really knows where Nancy is buried. And he goes to the FBI that he's been talking to on a regular basis. He actually has a contact that corresponds with him back and forth all the time. And he says, hey, I have this idea. I want to make a documentary and pay the Bitcoin and see if this leads us to Nancy Guthrie. What do you say? Are you on board? And the FBI, well, I'll let Harvey share it with you. It's on Ashley Banfield, and she's been a goat in this case, all right? Here you go.
Who kept reaching out to you saying, I have the information. I am, tangentially connected to the players who did this, and I have information, but I'm too afraid to go public. I know that you were like playing chess with his checkers when you said, fine, we'll get the $1 million reward for you, and we'll ensure you get paid, and we'll keep you anonymous. Did he ever take the bait?
No, he never gave us the information, but he kept contacting us. And,
Okay, well. Hold on. MJM, hun. That isn't what's being said. You said, in your opinion, reporters are lying. Some are saying no, said sorry. Other reporters are saying no apology. It can't be both. It isn't both. What is happening is you have Harvey from TMZ, who got the first note, is saying in the first note, there was nothing written about, I'm sorry she passed. In fact, Nancy's health was addressed and said that she's scared, but okay. Now, that's all Harvey knew because he didn't get the second note. The second note comes over here at this local news station. And the second note is the one that Savannah was addressing when she said, we understand and we're willing to pay, but we want to celebrate our mother with our mother. That's the only way we'll find peace. So in other words, Savannah's saying, we get that she passed away. So what's being said is that it wasn't being shared publicly, but that the second note came in that said, basically, you need to pay up. Your mother has passed. It was non-intentional. She's laid to rest with nature. In other words, we'll give you the coordinates to Nancy's body if you pay up. So it's not that they're lying, it's that they have different sources. Now, Harvey has never seen this other letter. He said that. So I'm just making that clear. But a lot of you are asking, why didn't we pay the guy with wanting a half a Bitcoin, 100,000, whatever? Why wasn't that paid and followed up on? Harvey's going to tell you what the FBI responded with.
But I'm too afraid to go public. I know that you were like playing chess with his checkers when you said, fine, we'll get the $1 million reward for you, and we'll ensure you get paid and we'll keep you anonymous. Did he ever take the bait?
No, he never gave us the information, but he kept contacting us. And, I always felt this guy knew something because it felt like he knew these kidnappers. And all of the emails, when you read them, I mean, he was scared. He thought they might try to implicate him. The authorities might. He said the reason he wanted money was so he could go underground because he was afraid of retribution. And so I know the FBI took that seriously, and they spent time with my IT team trying to track him down, and they couldn't. And I find that really interesting, that they couldn't track the kidnappers down from that first ransom note, and they believed that was real. And they couldn't track this guy down either. And, the FBI is really good, and they put 5 people on it at one point at the same time with our IT team. And I think it's interesting that that guy, as well as the kidnappers, went undetected. And so, about a month ago, I called the FBI guy that I had been dealing with back, and he's always been responsive. And I said, look, if we do a documentary, what if we pay him that money and we'll see where it leads? We don't want to do anything that's going to compromise your investigation, but let us know if you want us to do that. For whatever reason, you've been reluctant, even though you've been interested in who he is. So, and they said, well, that's interesting. And then he ghosted me. And up until that point, he always called me back. And
he ghosted him
half dozen times.
The FBI was working with Harvey at TMZ all the time until Harvey came up with this idea. Hey, I'm going to pay that Bitcoin. I want the FBI to be on board with me paying the Bitcoin, half the Bitcoin or whatever, so that we can see if it's really Nancy Guthrie. And they ghosted. The FBI ghosted Harvey. Ghosted him. His words. Why don't people want this person found? This is so bizarre. It's like the opposite of everything you would do to find a person, such as search. I don't know. What? A Bitcoin is worth $100,000, not $1 million, right? Nancy's 4.3 to 4.7 miles from the back of her home. What? In your opinion? I would have called the Hackers Club and gave them the money. She's afraid somebody might take that job from her. I know what you're saying. I get it. The FBI ghosted him. Yeah. The FBI ghosted him when Harvey suggested, like we all been saying, why wouldn't you pay the dude a freaking half a Bitcoin? to find Nancy. I mean, okay, it doesn't pay off. Doggone it. But what if it did? And Harvey's like, behind the scenes, he comes up with the idea. You know, I kind of wish he would have done that old saying where ask for forgiveness afterwards. You know, I wish he wouldn't have asked. I wish he would have just done it. Komodo freaking crazy. Our FBI is also currently involved in another cover-up allegedly with Charlie Kirk at the moment as well. The FBI finally talked to Harvey Levine earlier today. He talked about on TMZ Live. Okay, then I missed it. I missed it because this was from Ashley Banfield just a few hours ago. So I must have missed it. BC, because the person may be a huge organization that hires people to do their dirty work. In my opinion, the LA and FBI do not want this case solved. When FBI wants to find someone or something, they do, period. Okay, you guys. So let's switch gears. Hey, Chris, that makes me think maybe the FBI either knows who wrote the ransoms or they wrote them, in your opinion. Ooh, that's interesting. All right, you guys, let's switch over for a minute because there's other info that came out too. So we all wanted to know what was the bombshell that Chris McDonough was going to drop. Now, to me, you have to put on your true crime undercover agent Spidey glasses and ears to be able to hear what's being said with Chris McDonough on this part, because I think he's very carefully wording things so as not to point the finger at any of the family, but at the same time deliver some information. In that, he was talking about Splinter. So, started looking into this. What is Splinter? So him and Kieran went to Tucson and they went and released some unreleased new footage of Splinter, which is located near a park and a soup kitchen and in the middle of a homeless area, which apparently I've never gone to Tucson, but I've heard it more than once. Homeless are just prevalent in Tucson, like all over. I don't even understand that, but allegedly it's true. All right. So Chris was suggesting with Annie coming into this area to work at Splinter where she had her jewelry, that there might have been some side-eyeing and information that would connect people with maybe Annie not even being aware. Now, he didn't say this. I'm putting words in his mouth, actually. Not really. He didn't say this, but it was suggested. It was hinted. It was tiptoed around that some uncertainly could have become aware of Nancy because of Annie going to Splinter. Now, I found that very interesting, so I thought, well, let me do a deep dive, and I did. It wasn't a deep dive. I wet my toes in the water when I found out that Splinter is part of the organization, or a splintered part of the University of Arizona. That started making me go, huh, that's more than once the University of Arizona's come up, including that it's where Nancy Guthrie worked, was at the University of Arizona. All right. So let's get over for a minute and let me show you this real quick. Then I'll show you why this gets really weird with Splinter, because I did a little more digging than Chris did. We might run a little late today, but that's okay.
And for clarity, two things. One, I'm not saying in any way, shape, or form that a homeless person did this. What I was trying to point out to the public in a professional manner was these are the types of environments you would want to go through or go to on the ground to see if there's a link and a connection within the circle of any of the family members. And in this particular situation, it just so happens that the shop where, Annie may or may not even currently, sell her jewelry, but she was definitely down there, and she used it as her shop address.
Yep.
And everybody knows it in the Splinter Coalition down there. Is there a connection between criminal activity and or coming across her path? What I clearly showed over the weekend, the answer is yes. And so what does that mean? It means you have to, from an investigative analysis aspect, take that as a considerable lead, and then you need to follow it. You need to chase it. If there's something there, fine, you'll find it. But for every 100...
I did found something. I don't know if it's anything important, but I wanted to talk about it. So what we're going to do, we'll let Chris finish, and then I'll show you what I found out about Splinter, the University of Arizona, and Nancy Guthrie.
...knows that you get from people in the criminal activity world, you'll get one yes. And only a homicide investigator would know that because we've done it. We've done it hundreds of times.
Okay. So he was talking about digging deep and being, resourceful. Is that the word? Resourceful? All right, let me get this on the screen. And let me share it with you. So I asked, let me go ahead and make this a little bigger. Nope, I can't. Okay. I ask up here, what was Nancy Guthrie's job at University of Arizona? Guthrie worked as a spokesperson for the University Medical Center and the University of Arizona, a career she found after her husband died suddenly in 1988 from a heart attack. Okay? So Nancy was the spokesperson for the University of Arizona Medical Center, for the University Medical Center, and for the University of Arizona. So then I was interested in this little nugget. She attended elementary school at St. Agnes and graduated from Notre Dame Academy, Notre Dame, in 1959. She attended the University of Kentucky, where she was a staff member and society editor at the Kentucky Journal, the student-run newspaper. So she was a staff member and a society editor at the Kentucky Journal. And I find that really, really interesting that both her lifetime career was involved in a University of Kentucky, as well as after her husband passed, she became involved in the University of Arizona because Splinter is part of that University of Arizona. So that got weird. Now, it also stated that she was a spokesperson for the University Medical Center. Aha, hold on. Let me show you this. So I went over to this. Let me see if I can show you what this is. I like dug all over him. Okay, home. Statement. Studio. Okay, my painting studio is the Splinter Brothers and Sister Warehouse and historical building in the art district of Tucson, Arizona. The structure was built in 1928 by the Ronstadt family as a storage facility along the railroad lines. Today, Splinter houses painters, sculptors, writers, and acrobatic performance assembly. All right. So when we go to statement, we get this guy who is like the big guy in the Splinter. So he says, Gary Newsnow. Nusi now, okay? When we refer to painting as abstract or figurative, we set limits on how we encounter and then interpret what we see. I explore the potential fusion of the two. The results are often familiar yet surprising. And he goes on and on, blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. He's from Santa Barbara, okay, from California. But listen to this part right here. Now, he actually is affiliated with the University of Arizona, as well as, listen to this. In 2021, I completed a 6-month pilot program to be trained as a behavioral health paraprofessional with certification as a parent and family support specialist, working with those living with substance use disorders and mental health issues. So now, let's do this. Let's take his name and just Google him and let me show you what comes up. Now remember, Nancy's, oh, what did I do? Why won't that copy? Okay, let's do it this way. Gary. Okay, here's what I typed earlier. All right. That's the one we just did. Here's LinkedIn. Let me see if I have to sign in. No. Okay. I tried to sign in before I went live. Certified Parent and Family Support Specialist, right? Now, he's the guy from Splinter. All right. I am seeking staff position and internship as a parent family support, blah, 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 health facility. And here he tells you, last year, I completed a 6-month pilot training program at the University of Arizona Department of Family Communications Medicine. Isn't that what same area as Nancy was working in? Medicine. The material included in the training, and it goes on to talk about the Arizona Peer Group, the PFCA, talks about guest speakers, psychiatrists, and all kinds of stuff. All right? Behavioral health paraprofessional, marketing specialist, creative design, and like I said, he's got a Bachelor of Fine Arts. I'm not saying he did anything, but what I am saying is Chris is right. They are a place that is intertwining, mixing with people that are just coming out of jail, maybe prison, or whatever they need to do to rehabilitate their life, that have money issues, drug issues, mental health issues. What a playground that is surrounding this. So my question would then be, if Nancy's daughter is working at the facility, who's to say if Nancy actually went there? Because of her status with the university, this gentleman also working in that same field, it would just seem, I would be quizzical if they had never crossed paths. Could Nancy have went there? And I'm going to pull the Chris McDonough card. I'm going to say maybe somebody that was uncertainly picked up on the idea. Like I said, I've got my own theory, which, hey, until it's debunked, I'm still on that theory. But I have to look at all avenues. But are you seeing what I'm saying? Lazy Days says TMZ had a reason to release it yesterday, which would have been 142 days. I did the math. Comes up to gematria 7. Interesting. It does play in their favor. Talking about 7, here's 7777 MGM. I found this page of the reporter. It's called Brianna Whitney TV. Please watch her short. She's saying this, seeing all the ransom notes. Oh, interesting. All right, listen. What's also interesting is I have to factor in rumor. Even though I don't know if it's true or not, it is a rumor. Spaghetti at the wall. Turns out that the rumor is Luke Daly's aunt worked at that facility. And it had to do with funding for different cultures And she went to prison. She went to prison, allegedly. Now, what's interesting is this guy, okay, this Nusi now, okay? Let me go see if I can get the one where it showed all the different ethnic groups and it quoted the Mensa thing. Ah, shoot, I should have saved that one. Let me see if this is the one. No, that's just an advertisement. All right, so you guys, let me get back up to... What's this? Oh, that's just the contact information, which is public. He's also a printmaker. Is this the one that talked about it? No. I mean, this guy is all over Tucson. He's like, oh, what? Okay. We need to do... Oh, is this it? This is it. This is it. Hold on. Is it it? Okay, so the art, this was part of it. I click on something, the programs maybe? No, I got to dig more into it. I'm just saying there's something. It's like we're tiptoeing around it, but it really drew me in because I had never known the shop's name was Splinter. That gives me a lot to work from. And it does connect back somehow around the university, maybe? I don't know. I'm way past all the whining. Why did TMZ say it now when he's had it since February? Why did the other news program? Okay, they didn't. Where did News Nation? Who is their source that they're allegedly in the investigation and releasing the information that's 140 days old finally now? At the same time, we got Chris McDonough going to Tucson, getting a lot of views. We also have TMZ, Harvey, coming out, releasing what he knows, being told that the FBI blew him off. And Susie said that live. Now, allegedly, rumor has it the FBI is now called Harvey. I don't know. There's just something here. I want to dig deeper. I hear you. And he has a business in Hoodlumville. By word of mouth from all those low lives, this was an evil act. Could be. Look under funding. See, this is where I'm starting to look at. There's something weird here. Only NBC News is allowed there? Where? Is that Savannah's employer? I lost something there. Where's Miss Guthrie lived is a freaking maze. Whoever did it and knew the area well. That's a good point, Elise. News Nation, yeah. So what did the second ransom note was sent to TMZ and News Nation? No, the second ransom note was never sent to TMZ or News Nation. The second ransom note was sent to a local Tucson news program. Could be. Maybe they are playing. Maybe they are playing. You sent what yesterday? Oh, hold on. Sorry, guys. All right, my lovelies. So let me talk to you for just a minute on something else. Chris McDonough made a short. And before he did his, I'm going to talk about this in the Nancy Guthrie case video. Okay? And I did a reading on Chris McDonough to see what he was going to talk about. What was the news about Nancy Guthrie that was about to come out? And I said we were going to go back and review it after we saw Chris McDonough's video. And if any news came out, we would go back and we would review it. What is so shocking is the very first card that came out Let me get it. Let me get it. And then we're going to go through the, I should have grabbed this ahead of time. I don't even know if I have the right deck. But you're going to have to check that out with us. We're going to review that reading and see how close the reading was to the information that came out from Chris McDonough and the news at the time. But what came out was the letter. I think it's in here. If it's on the top, it was the very top card of this deck. The last card I looked at, this is what was the very first card on the reading. And indeed, the very first words that Chris McDonough and the rest of all the news people talked about is that "I'm sorry, your mom died" letter. Just saying. I'm sorry. Right? The communication, the ransom. We're sorry to report, unintentionally, your mother died. She's with nature. So, right off the bat, it let us know. Now, Chris wasn't talking about that. He was talking about the Bitcoin. And he started off talking about the letters and communication about the Bitcoin. But the rest of the news was all about this "I'm sorry" letter. Your mom passed. Can't even make it up if I tried. So we're going to go back and, it's lighthearted. We can't, we can't always take tarot as fact. I can misinterpret it. You can misinterpret it, but it's always interesting, right? So with that, we're going to jump over. I can't wait to share this review with you. After that, we will pull a few cards. Just let you guys ask your questions. We'll start off on video 3 of 3 with our private eyes, our true crime undercover agents, our private eyes. Then we're going to hand it over to our beautiful family, our subscribers, and let everybody ask the questions that they want. So with that, my lovelies, let's see here. There it is. We're going to get out of here for now. If you're following me over, let's do the time warp again together. And if this is where you leave me, thank you. I love you. Thank you for all the support. And let me know what your thoughts are on the Nancy Guthrie case. Pray the truth comes out. I surely do.
From the dust I was born, to the dirt I shall return. When my eyes are closed, in the shadows, my enemies will think they won.